What's up, everyone? It's Grant from Sound Pollination. I'm here to let you know that we're getting involved in something really amazing this next month. Sound Pollination is teaming up with the North American Thrombosis Forum's annual fundraiser. It's called a Celebration of Gratitude, and it's being held at the Museum of Science in Boston on Thursday, October 25th. The North American Thrombosis Forum, otherwise known as NATF, supports research and raising awareness to deep vein thrombosis, otherwise known as DVT. For those of you who have never heard of DVT, it's essentially blood clots, and they're a major health issue that affect over 900,000 people and kill over 300,000 people annually. That's more people each year than opioids, AIDS, breast cancer, and motor vehicle crashes combined. It affects all ages, all ethnicities. It affects both men and women. Yet most people are unaware of this devastating yet preventable disease. So that's where you come in. For donating any amount of money you want, you can help us raise funds for critical and life-saving advances in research and treatment of DVT. If this sounds like something you'd love to get involved with, please visit their GoFundMe page. It's gofundme.com/NATF-celebration-of-gratitude. That's gofundme.com/NATF-celebration-of-gratitude. Please join us in helping to support this fantastic and amazing cause.
What is that? What is it? Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast!
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Bad Movies Podcast. I'm your host, Gianni DeMaia, and alongside me today is my good friend, Miss Elizabeth Sanchez.
Hi.
So today, we are discussing
Oh my god.
one of the newer Netflix original releases. It is called Sierra Burgess is a Loser.
Is that how you pronounce it? I thought it was Burgess.
I think it is Burgess. I said Burgess with a question mark inflection because even though I watched the movie and heard them say the last name a couple of times, I still don't really know.
Did you
how to
really hear
pronounce
them
it.
say her last name?
I think like once or twice.
Actually never heard it.
Yeah,
I probably
you know what?
blocked
I'm
out.
rethinking everything I just said just now. I don't know if they did say it. No. They definitely did because the guidance counselor said it. Was like Sierra Burgess is what?
Oh, the unrealistic guidance counselor.
The unrealistic guidance counselor
Who
that
doesn't
shits on her
counsel?
for everything. She's like, how many languages do you speak? She's like 3 or whatever, 3.5. And then she's like, fuck you, basically.
She basically just tells her she's a failure at
Oh
everything.
my God, we're already spoiling the shit out of this movie. Okay, anyway, so wait. So, this movie, seemingly part of a trio of John Hughes-esque Netflix releases as of late that happened like this summer. So it was like The Kissing Booth, To All the Boys I Loved Before, and then this movie. And I think they all released like within a month of each other this summer.
I haven't seen The Kissing Booth.
I haven't either.
I've seen To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
I have
like
too.
6 times.
And you loved it, and I did not.
I don't understand why you didn't like
I
that
don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it somewhere within this. But anyway, this totally has like the same vibe. And so I don't know if that's like something Netflix intentionally planned or like what the hell they're doing. But anyway, so this movie, little information drop here. Here we go. Directed by Ian Samuels. Written by Lindsay Beer. I guess her last name is just Beer. Not familiar with Ian Samuels' work. Lindsay Beer, though, this is weird. Totally random. I looked up her on IMDb, and this is like basically her first thing, I guess, that's listed on there. But she's slated to be one of the writers on Godzilla versus King Kong. Don't know how this film translates to that world. But hey, maybe she's just, a jack of all trades,
Wait, so okay.
She's just going around. She's like, I like rom-coms for teenagers, and I also like Godzilla. I don't know. I don't know what Lindsay Beer's life is like. All right,
Can't
so anyway.
judge her. We can't judge her.
Yeah, we
you know?
can't. You know what? You're right. We haven't even seen Godzilla vs. King Kong yet. It
Yeah.
could be lit.
Okay.
So this movie has a 6.2 on IMDb, a 60 Metascore, and a 65% on Rotten Tomatoes. So technically, it is fresh on the tomato meter. It is not rotten.
Surprising.
You know what? I know this is kind of spoiling the rest of the review, but I'm gonna say I agree. No, I think that we picked this movie to review because I remember you texted me and you were like, I watched the first 15 minutes of the movie and had to turn it off, and I was like, oh well, then we have to review it for my thing.
Mm-hmm. I was
And
watching
it was
it.
like, I guess a little hasty because, like, technically the reviews aren't indicative of it being quite that bad, but I'm still glad we chose it because I think we need to inform the people
Yeah.
on how this Netflix original.
It's interesting, though, because when I looked on IMDb Pro,
Mhm.
all the reviews, at least like the first 15, were pretty terrible.
Mhm.
So,
Like user reviews, you mean?
yeah.
I didn't read any of those.
Wait,
but
what do you read?
Well, no, I just look at like the overall score.
Okay.
I glimpsed through some of the
Mhm.
critic reviews or whatever, but I didn't read any like the actual user reviews. But what were they generally saying?
That it was terrible and it was not good, and some reasons being sexual abuse and catfishing
Wow.
and stalking, and you can't romanticize those things.
Yeah, I guess not wrong, right? Because we'll talk about it.
But yeah, that was the gist of.
Let's just dive in there,
Okay.
right? I think it's time.
Let's go for it.
I think we just go for gold right now. You know what I'm saying? Did you hear my voice quiver? Because I'm like nervous at how.
Why are you nervous?
Because this movie just, I was trying to explain what I thought of this to Maeve. And as I was like getting so heated. And I was like, why am I getting so heated about Sierra Burgess as a loser? Like, it's like, why do I care that much? But we'll talk about it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? All right.
Okay. So where are we starting?
So, if you wouldn't mind, Ellie Sanchez,
Mm-hmm.
please give us a plot description of this movie. Please tell us what this movie is
Does it
about.
have to be an unbiased plot? I mean, I guess a plot description
you
should
can
be.
throw some bias in there.
Okay.
You know what? I'm not picky.
So, okay. So basically, the movie starts with Sierra Burgess.
Yep.
And
She's a special kind of psychopath because she brushes her tongue before all of her teeth. Don't
that was
understand
strange.
that. Right? That's
that
right
was
in the-
uncomfortable to
That's
watch.
like in the first 2 minutes. Okay, but that's
So-
neither here nor there.
She basically like goes downstairs and like there's something that I noticed. She had like toothpaste on her cheek and her mom was trying to wipe it off, and then she said something about basically how she doesn't care about how she looks. But not true because she is like a self-pity party the whole movie. Anyways, so she goes to school. She has this friend.
Yep.
It's her only friend.
Yeah, Dan, right?
I don't know his name,
I think
honestly.
his name is Dan. I had it written as Dan.
He was funny,
I think
though.
it's Dan.
He was
Yeah,
funny. Enter in, what did they call it on IMDb? Wannabe Mean Girls or something like that. It just was terrible. Okay, so these Mean Girls enter into the movie and...
It's one of those things where it's like the second you spot them, right? You're like, oh, I get it. These are the bitches.
Yeah.
And before they even said they were cheerleaders, I was like, they're cheerleaders,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Which is horrible.
But they were
just true.
evil. They were evil for no reason.
Right. That we saw until later in the film, of course.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
So I don't even really know how to explain. So it's clear that Sierra and this main cheerleader girl have
Veronica.
Veronica.
I think her name was, right?
They're enemies.
Mm.
And then enter in Peter Kavinsky. Oh my god.
So,
Heartthrob.
for clarification's sake, Peter Kavinsky was the character that he played in To All the Boys I Loved Before. Weird that these movies both are Netflix originals with I'm not similar plots, but I guess very similar tones. That he is the romantic male lead
Heartthrob.
of both of them.
He's in. I mean, he's hot.
What's his name? Noah
Centineo.
Sure. Okay.
Like that. Okay, anyway. So enter in Noah, and he asked this mean girl for her number, and the mean girl didn't give him her number. He gave him the number of Sierra.
Right.
She got Sierra's number because
Sierra tutors and left her number up on the call board or whatever, and then she like ripped it up or whatever.
Ripped it up for no reason. Anyways.
Because she's just a bitch, right? She's just mean.
Yeah.
And you're not meant to care about her yet until you realize that she's not just the mean cheerleader, right?
Yeah.
Classic.
Whatever.
Classic. Yeah,
So-
you're over it.
So she gives the boy her fake number.
Peter Kavinsky.
Oh my god. Okay, can we call him that?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I think his name is, just for the sake of the review or whatever, I think his name is like J. No, that's not right. I was going to say Jalen. It's like his name is not J. It's James. It's James. We're going to call him Peter Kavinsky the whole time.
Because that's who he is now.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So Peter Kavinsky gets home, starts texting who he thinks is Veronica, the evil cheerleader, but ends up texting Sierra,
Yep.
the big loser. But he doesn't know that he's texting Sierra. He ends up like falling for Sierra. They have really cool conversations. They're, whatever. And it's terrible. She's catfishing him the whole time. He doesn't know. How did her and Veronica become friends?
Okay, so what ends up happening, right, to my recollection, is that Sierra starts it off knowing that he is texting the wrong person.
Yes.
But just thinks he's cute and sort of like decides to begin this flirtationship anyway, because I don't know why. But anyway, once she figures out that he is interested in Veronica, she goes up to Veronica and is like, and we'll talk all about this plan in at great length. Okay, because this is one of, I don't want to get into negatives yet, but let's just say one of the worst movie plans I've ever seen on screen ever. But so her bright idea is she goes up to Veronica and says, you're having trouble with your boy that you're after in college. I can help you with that by making you smarter, by teaching you what he's learning in college. And in exchange, you help me basically catfish this boy. And so she starts tutoring Veronica, and they sort of end up building some sort of friendship rapport over their tutorship. Over their evil scheme. And yeah. And so that's what the whole movie's about. So spoiler warning, right?
But they did FaceTime.
Oh, God. Well, let's just say this, right before we talk about the FaceTime and all that stuff. Spoiler warning for this film. If you haven't seen it yet, it's on Netflix, very readily accessible. Please go watch it, then come back. Now, spoiler warning is out there. Yes, they FaceTime and stuff, and somehow they still get away with this horrible lie. There's a lot of things done just for the sake of convenience that I don't even want to get into yet. So let's start with positives.
Okay. I have none.
Out the gate with the haymakers. I knew I made a right call in bringing you on for this one. Okay, no, I have a few. There were things I liked about this movie, and I think it actually is the reason why I'm so passionate about why I am like angry about it.
Okay.
Because I think that this movie could have been good. I really do.
With the same plot, you think it could have been good?
I really do. And I'll tell you why more in the negatives, how I would have my big idea of how I would have twisted this to make it work. But let's just talk about the things I did like in what they presented, right?
Okay.
So Here's what I have written as my first thing. Man, you know what? It's bad when all of your positives have like a little disclaimer of like, once you blah, 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 blah. You're like, I think that's bad. Okay, but anyway. So, positive number 1. This is what I have written. After accepting the circumstances of the film and its characters, it showcases a relatively strong second act. So what I mean is like the middle chunk of the film, I think actually has some engaging scenes, some engaging development. I like things I have written down specifically are like there was that scene where Dan is basically fucking with Sierra and runs up to Peter Kavinsky.
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
I thought it was really brilliant though too, because I was like a little nervous. I was like, oh my God, she's gonna get found out. And then they through circumstances end up playing off that she's deaf. And they're just like, okay, we lied, now we're in it. And it's like, and then it turns out Peter Kavinsky's little brother's deaf. So he's like, oh yeah, my brother's deaf too. He starts signing to Sierra and she just has to go along with the shit. I was like, oh man, this is actually really tense. I thought that was a great scene.
Yeah,
I really did. And I think that, cause I read something about there was a controversy surrounding that scene and how like it just builds the deaf thing up as a gag. But I don't see that as a controversy. Reason being, it didn't come across to me that Sierra just was like, oh yeah, I'm deaf, because that's like the funny gag of the bit. For me, it was a tense scene. I mean, it had like it's funny humor, but in the same way, like The Office is funny. Like it's one of those things that's like, oh, this is cringe. Like I'm laughing because I'm so uncomfortable. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't think that it was like controversial at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that scene
agree.
a lot. And I think that
It was driven by the best friend though, and he was pretty good.
Yeah.
He was funny.
yeah. Well, I have a note about him actually later in the positives. RJ Kyler, I think is how you say his last name. But he was also in Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. I don't know if you saw it,
No.
but he's a standout performance in that as well. I think he's a really, really talented guy. But anyway, I think that is a great example of what I really liked about the middle chunk of this movie. Pretty much everything. Like the movie theater date scene has a lot of issues. But around that, I think pretty much the whole meat of this movie in the middle, very enjoyable, very painless to watch at its worst, and at its best, very like engaging.
Okay.
And then there's some stuff once we get to like that football game that we'll talk about later. But
I didn't understand that scene, but I guess we'll talk about it later.
oh yeah, we will. Because
Okay.
there's so many things. So I just had angry note after angry note after. Why do people give a shit? I don't know. Oh, anyway, my other thing, building off this, right? So this kind of leads into my second positive. I think that after, we already talked about how the mean girl comes in. It's like, oh my God, she's a mean girl. I get it. She's just so cookie cutter, right? I actually think that they build that character pretty effectively in the second act. I thought I believed the circumstances of her home life, and I did actually end up feeling for her and sort of engaging in their relationship. I think that
And whose relationship?
Veronica and Sierra.
Oh, okay.
I think that I understood where they sort of met each other's pitfalls, I guess you say, and where they sort of vibed.
Okay.
I was into them.
How did you feel about the mother?
I didn't think it was bad. I thought that once I saw the mother for the plot device that she was, which was just to say Veronica's home life is shitty, and I accepted that, then I was like, okay, now that I know that you're not actually like a character that's supposed to be in this film, you're just supposed to be sort of
Driving it?
Yeah, pervading into the main character. Then I was about it. So I think that the mother's fine. The mother's fine. I like what it does for the Veronica character.
Okay.
Yeah. With that, kind of, a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I just feel like that character, I feel like I understood.
Veronica.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the character of Veronica a lot.
Yes. I enjoyed her as well. In the second, in the last half of the movie.
In the second act.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was a believable circumstance. And especially the stuff with her and the guy. I feel like I knew that girl in high school. The one that would allow herself to like sort of get swept up in this guy just because he's older and you know, that kind of thing. And it was like uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for the better. Next thing I got. I already know you're not going to agree with this. I don't know. We haven't talked about this, but for some reason I know that you're not going to agree with this. But hear me out, okay?
Okay.
I kind of like the song.
What song?
The like climatic song that she writes for her poetry class. That's like all about how if she were a rose and how she's actually a sunflower and that whole thing. Like,
you liked the song.
yes.
Okay, I liked every other song but that song.
No, the soundtrack is good. The soundtrack is fine.
Yeah.
I liked that song. That plane is on our end, by the way, audience, if you hear that. I liked that song because I understood what it was doing, what it was adding to that character. I think that lyrically it's obviously flawed and cliche, whatever. But I think that after building up this fucking she's got to write a poem and blah, blah, blah for so long, to finally give me something that I felt actually did have a meaningful impact on her journey. And even though it didn't make me feel sympathy for her, it made me at least understand a little better the mentality behind why she was maybe doing what she was doing. I don't think it made up for any of her actions in the film.
Okay.
I think that it could have if the film took some different turns.
Okay.
So I appreciate the song.
I can accept that.
Last positive I have.
Okay. Only 3 positives. I mean, that tells you something.
4. This is the 4th.
Oh, is
technically,
it?
because Veronica was technically a different
okay.
positive. Even though it was the same positive. Okay, so 3 positive. Last thing I have, I already mentioned this earlier, but I think that the performances are relatively likable. I don't think anyone was bad in this movie. I think that characters were bad. I don't think performances were bad. I think that they made the best out of what they had. Specifically, Dan.
Okay. Wait, who's Dan again? The friend.
The friend.
Okay.
RJ Kyler from Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Yeah? With that?
I can accept that as well.
Okay. All right.
I can agree to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was going through it, and I feel like there were moments.
Okay, wait, hold up.
Yeah.
I agree, but the main lead's guy friends, I cannot agree with that.
Oh, but they're hardly in it though, right?
But they're in it.
I think, okay, let me rephrase that. I think out of the core cast.
Okay.
Out of the core cast, I think the performances are generally likable. To the point where like there were certain scenes that I was like, this would not work if I was reading the script. And it almost kind of works. Like a big one that sticks out in my head is I don't know why I just forgot her name. Her name is the title of the movie, I guess.
Sierra.
Sierra. When Sierra comes running in and she's like sobbing hysterically and she like says to her parents like this whole thing about like you're beautiful and like I look like this and like why would you like you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
On paper, I think the movie doesn't even add up to that. I had not yet really been introduced to the fact that she thinks of herself so negatively. I know that she doesn't think of herself as being as pretty as Veronica.
Yeah.
But it was like almost new and shocking that she would be that upset because she thinks it's just because of how she looks and not because of how she just acted in the scene prior, the football
Yeah.
scene. We'll talk about it. But so like on paper that I don't think that would work for me. The performance though in that scene, I think that Barb from Stranger Things, I don't have the actress's name written down here. I think she does a fine job.
I agree.
And I think that, it's enough of a positive for me to throw the dog a bone, so to speak, in this film.
So okay. Out of the core cast,
Yeah.
can you list who you thought was the best performer, the best performance, like number
Sure,
one
okay.
being the best?
Dan, definitely.
Okay.
As my
No.
number one. No, you don't think?
You cannot. Okay.
I don't like the character. I think you could edit the character out of the movie entirely.
Okay.
What I like about him so much is that he almost makes that character worthwhile because the performance is good.
Okay, I agree. Peter Kavinsky. Like, are we really going to
He
forget
would,
about
he
him?
would probably be number
1.5.
number 2. He'd
Okay.
probably be number 2. And then I'd say Sierra, and then I'd say Veronica.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I'd rank them.
Okay.
Probably off the top of my head.
Peter Kavinsky would be number 1 for me.
Are you sure that's not just because you have like an affinity for him because of To All the Boys I Loved Before?
This is a
and the
very
fact that you love that
unbiased
movie?
opinion.
A very unbiased opinion.
yeah,
of
this
course.
is super unbiased.
Yeah, not at all to do with you.
I honestly think he's such a good actor.
Really? Okay.
I
Not that
really,
I'm not saying I disagree. I didn't.
I
mean
think
to
he's
sound
really
surprised.
good.
Yeah, I think he does a fine job.
Can I say something else?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Doesn't he remind you of Dylan?
Hardigan. Yeah, he does.
He's totally Dylan.
Dylan Hardigan, friend of the show, star on NBC's The Voice last season. Check him out if you haven't. He has a band called the Dylan Hardigan Project. But yes, he does totally remind me of Dylan. I mean, they look very similar. Very similar types. All right. Are we done with the positive here? You think we covered the gambit?
Okay, I have one positive.
Sure. Yeah.
I enjoyed the scene where they were on the phone.
The first time,
The phone call. Yeah.
not the one where she's like drunk and she called him.
No.
Okay, cool. Yeah. No, I actually had written there. That was another, I thought, good example of. I thought that they, despite being on the phone, actually had very good chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that the editing did a good job of showing these two people actually. I don't want to say falling in love because I think that gives maybe the romance story a little too much credit, but falling in love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they were very cute, likable in that
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
Let's not go too far. Did we cover it? Did we get it?
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
Oh, and just for the record, neither positive nor negative. I don't think this movie is like directed poorly. There was no shot that I was like, this doesn't fit or anything like that.
Mhm.
I think that like it's all coherent.
I agree with that as well.
All right. I think we're ready. I think we're ready to go. I think we're ready to go into the negatives. But first, a word from our sponsors. I know what you're thinking. You're about to click that 15-second fast forward button on your little Apple device or whatever you're listening to. Don't, because you might miss out on an opportunity for some sleek boots. That's right. We are partnering Sound Pollination with Leather and Earth. They're a small batch handmade boot company. Each boot styled to be gender neutral. That's a tongue twister. Durable, minimal, and dependable. They're made in Portugal, but based out of NYC, and I swear on my life, this is some of the best looking boots I've ever seen. Elizabeth Sanchez, I wouldn't lie to you. These are some of the best looking boots I've ever seen in my entire life. Do you think I'm lying to you right now?
No, I trust you.
All right, cool. See, you heard it from her. I'm also Portuguese. Some of you may not know that
Wait,
about
what?
me. Yeah, you didn't even know that about me. I'm Portuguese. I'm 50% Portuguese. But that being said, or actually, I guess in addition to that being said, by buying these boots, you're not just helping out Sound Pollination. You're also helping the brethren of me and Cristiano Ronaldo, best soccer player in the world. Also Portuguese.
Wow.
There you go. So the leathers, they're hand selected by the manufacturer. If you go to www.leatherearth.com and purchase a pair of boots with the discount code pollinate10, you will get 10% off your purchase and you will help Sound Pollination out tremendously. Go do it. What are you waiting for? Boom. Sponsor done. How'd you like that?
Wow.
Threw a curveball in there. Haven't done a sponsored episode before. I thought, why not? Let's throw it out
I
there.
like it. I like it.
Yeah, what am
I'm
I waiting
digging it.
for? You know what I'm saying? Episode 9, we're breaking all the trends. You know what I'm saying? All right. It's over. If you fast forwarded through all that ad, it's over now. We're going into negatives.
Here we
Pollinate
go.
10. Pollinate 10 discount code. Okay, we're going into the negatives. Discount code. Pollinate 10. Okay, it's over. Oh, here's what I have written here, Sanchez. Starting us out with this.
Mm-hmm.
Betraying character for the sake of plot. You're telling me that I'm holding the mic further away from my face because I'm getting louder, okay? Because this is ridiculous. You're telling me that Sierra is quote unquote smart. Why is her plan so fucking bad? Sierra, what? Are you for real? First of all, let's put aside the fact that where's the sustainability in the plan, right? Where in the world is this gonna meet up and he's gonna be in love with me after all is said and done?
Agreed.
Put that aside, because that is the glaring hole in the plan, right? But then behind it, the big fire that it's setting aflame, right? Because in this analogy, I don't know, there's a hole and then there's a flame. Whatever. The point is, the other part of the plan, hey, Veronica, you'll want to help me out because I'll tutor you. And if you're smarter, then your freshman college guy will like you better.
Like, what?
Good sentiment, right? I would love to believe that all people are like that. Not real. Not
Yeah.
real at all. No. And there's no indication, right? There is no indication that this guy is really into fucking academics. So why in the world would Sierra think this is a good idea? And why would Veronica be like, yeah, that all makes sense. I'll learn some shit about Plato and Socrates, and then I'll get the college boys to like me. Sign me up for this fucking dapper plan, Sierra. You're a loser and you've never led me wrong before. What? What is this? What is this?
Didn't Veronica like say something that she learned and the college guy didn't even care? Like he wasn't even.
He did not give a
He
fuck.
actually looked really. I
He
thought he
looked
was
confused.
pretty. Yeah.
He looked confused, right? And that would have been cool, right? If he genuinely was like, what? And they gave it a moment of like, oh man, I've been wasting all my time on this dumb plan.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They didn't comment on it at all.
Yeah.
He just looked confused for a second, and then they kept making out, and they never talked about it again. Missed opportunities, okay? Missed opportunities. More stuff. Sierra has never, in the story of the movie, been shown to be unreasonably vindictive, right? But then, all of a sudden, oh, you kissed him? I'm gonna ruin your whole fucking life, bitch. What? Who are you, Sierra Burgess? If that's even how you say your name.
That was really evil.
Seriously.
It was like, yeah, that was crazy. Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, while me and Gianni were watching this movie at separate locations, we were texting about how ridiculous the movie was.
This is true.
So you texted me and you said that it actually got good, and then like literally 2 minutes later you were like, it just went south.
I remember exactly this moment.
What was the good moment?
The good moment was that scene where she's like accidentally pretending that she's deaf.
Oh,
I was like, oh, this is like a genuinely great scene. And I paused it and was like, Sanchez, I think this movie's turning around. I think we're wrong about this thing. Played it, paused it again 2 minutes later. Because, and I'll tell you exactly fucking why, okay? Peter Kavinsky.
Peter Kavinsky. Please
Kavinsky.
say his name properly.
It's not even his name in the film, okay? But anyway, Peter Kavinsky, so he's the stand-up guy. He's a football player, right? But he's a jock with a heart. And this ties in directly right to what I'm saying. So this was the moment when I texted you. You might already be ahead of me on this, but I hope you're not. They're at the movie theater, right? Jock with a heart of gold. And for whatever reason, it's a group date at the movie theater. No idea why. Whatever. We're glossing over that.
Yeah.
They're at the movie theater. Jock with a heart of gold turns to Veronica, goes, "Hey, have you ever counted shoulders? 1, 2, 3, 4. Puts his arm around her.
That was
like
really rough.
Douche! I'm sorry if I just blew out everybody's eardrums. Like a douche!
Okay,
What?
devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Even good guys sometimes have their moments, have their douchey moments.
You're not wrong, okay? And it's not why that particular moment is its own negative in and of itself, but you're telling me that the same guy who literally goes on this quote-unquote dreamy monologue on the phone about how he loves football because every play is a different story. Every tackle, a heartbreak. Every catch, a triumph. Football is his life. Then resorts to counting shoulders? What? Fuck this guy. Literally, fuck this guy. Fuck
It
these.
was one bad moment.
You're right. You're right.
Give him a break.
And I'm getting too heated about it. And here's the thing. Just to cycle. What? let me try that again. Just to circle back on what I was sort of saying before.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that I'm so passionately angry about this movie is because I do believe that it could be good. I just think that this movie falls into too many traps of like incoherent, why are we making these characters this unlikable nonsense?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. One worse thing than all this.
What?
Why is she so easily forgiven?
Yeah, okay, let's take a moment. So, I basically ruin your whole life, and I make you fall in love with someone who isn't real. I kiss you. Okay, wait, hold up. Did he know that because when they kissed at the end...
He
No,
definitely knew.
I don't think
was
he
like,
did.
Have we done this before?
But then she never says yes. Like, I just asked you a question. Can you answer me?
I
They
would
just
be concerned.
they just walk away. She never actually says
She
yes.
fucking kissed him without consent, and then he like knew, kind of. He was like, wait, I thought I just saw someone or whatever. Does not put two and two together. That's another thing. Peter Kavinsky is a dumbass in this movie just for sake of convenience, right? Because no
was
one
ju-
is as gullible as he is. No one is as completely oblivious as this guy is.
Mm-hmm.
But then recognizes her voice fucking immediately on the football field. Give me a fucking break, okay?
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't understand him.
I need a minute. I need a minute.
You go. Yeah, now I got
Hold
the fire.
up
Now I
here.
got the fire in you. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's fucking go.
Another negative.
Yeah. Throw it on there.
So, because I'm bigger, my voice sounds fuller. And then when you hear a skinny girl talk, he literally said, "Your voice sounds skinnier."
Yeah, and then they made a joke about it. They were like, wow, yeah.
That is honestly
My voice sounds fat. What?
but come on. The
Come
stupidest
on!
thing. The stupidest thing that can come out of any person's, any human being's mouth.
Why not just different?
Yeah.
Why not your voice just sounds different?
Do people really sound different based on their weight?
I don't know. Do I sound fat?
You're not fat. But let's say, do you sound different than Mikhail? No.
Yes, I do. I mean, I do sound different.
Well, yeah,
than
you
Kyle.
sound different, but not based on like your weight difference.
Right. And I also would never describe Mikhail's voice as skinnier.
Skinny. Who uses that verbiage?
That is bizarre. That is definitely bizarre.
I just had to throw that out there because honestly,
No, you know what? I'm glad you did, right? But hey, let's get back to it though, because I'm not even mad. Okay, I'm not even mad about Jamie, Peter Kokoskini. I'm not even mad about Noah Centineo
that is
for
not
giving
his
her.
name.
I'm mad about Veronica forgiving her.
Yeah.
Why did she forgive her? What?
How did that go
She
about
hears
again?
this song and she's like, oh, well, that excuses you ruining my life. She has no idea that it was not her that put the Instagram up on the Jumbotron. She has no fucking clue
Yeah.
that it was not her.
Yeah.
Why would she forgive her? They have not had a single conversation. And then they shortchange. Veronica is my favorite character. If you haven't gotten that from my positive note, specifically saying Veronica is the best character in this movie. After all that, they shortchange my favorite character. And the way that these two make up is they look at each other, say nothing, smile, and hug. Veronica did nothing wrong in this fucking movie. The one thing she did wrong,
She didn't-
one thing. I mean, look, agreeing with the plan, but Veronica's already shown to be not that bright. Okay, whatever.
Mhm.
I'm okay with it. I forgive Veronica. I do not forgive Sierra, the so-called smart person in the movie. Okay, why in the world is Veronica saying like, I have to take responsibility. I have to get Peter Kaczynski back in the good graces of my friend. Why?
Air quotes, friend.
Yeah, air quotes friend. Because, I mean, they got a good scene together in a montage.
Yeah, but honestly, they just started to. I can understand if we've had like 10 years of friendship and you did something really crappy. And like, okay, well, we have 10 years of friendship to look back on. I've literally known you for 1 month, bro. If you do that to me, it's over.
Yeah, and especially after you had all these preconceived notions about her being a loser, and like, you already did not like her,
Yeah.
right? You had all of these thoughts, and then you start to realize she's cool, and then she does some backstabby shit like, I don't know, post your biggest fucking disappointment on Instagram, and then on a Jumbotron at a football game, which
Crazy.
we know wasn't her. But again, Veronica does not know that. How would she know that? We have no idea that she doesn't know that. But so...
Wait,
my
she doesn't know
logic-
what?
That it wasn't Sierra that put it on the Jumbotron. That it was that guy, that that B character
Oh.
that just randomly decided, oh, you know what'd be cool? Putting this on the fucking Jumbotron. I'm here as a character. I'm here as a character. I like to do things. Whatever.
Who was
I don't
that
get
guy?
it. I don't get, who was that guy? Bobby. We'll call him Bobby. He looked like a Bobby. Anyway, Bobby puts the name on the Jumbotron. Veronica doesn't know that. I forgot where we were even going with this. But the point is, why would Veronica forgive her? I will never understand.
Yeah.
Never, ever.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, right? They betray all of these characters just for the sake of moving this plot along
Mm-hmm.
and then tying it in a tiny bow at the end. And it's like, why the fuck, man? Why?
Yeah.
We've already let it in, right? To this second negative that I got. But I'll just say it.
Okay.
Unlikable lead. Sierra is an asshole.
She really is. She doesn't take responsibility for anything.
Anything. Nothing. At the end, she did not learn her lesson. She wrote a song kind of explaining why she did the thing she did, but
Did she apologize?
does not I don't think she apologizes at all. I think she might kind of say I'm sorry when he's like, what you did was really bad. And I think she goes, I'm sorry. And then he's like, but you're my type and blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, really? Oh my God. Wow. Homecoming on ground. Whatever, Sierra. You're an unlikable character. Okay?
She really is.
And it has nothing to do with the performance, right? And it's the main reason why I brought up the performances in the positives, right?
Mhm.
Is just so I could talk about this stuff in the negatives. Performance is solid. It almost rectifies the catastrophe that is the character, right? But let's be real. She does some rather deplorable things in this film. She literally tricks him into kissing her.
Okay.
And I know it's kind of Veronica's fault, right? But like, what? She's under the car just to hear what they say. I mean,
she
does
stalking. She was stalking them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just as bad. A little creepy. No, a lot creepy. What am I saying?
Yeah.
A lot creepy.
A lot creepy. She was stalking them.
But then she's jealous and possessive, right? Over this guy, and they're not even really dating.
She blames everyone but herself. She blames everything.
I think that's the biggest
herself.
thing, right? Is that she takes no responsibility.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest issue. No responsibility. And again, so like all these negatives just feeding into each other. My next one, the ending. The ending, we already talked about it to some length. But by giving Sierra redemption at the end of this film, they literally like just devolve this movie to nothing more than like a cheap John Hughes-esque knockoff. But like it also deprives it of having this really like great moral. Where it could, and this is what I was saying earlier about like how I think this movie could have really course corrected and made something pretty good, is if you let it have this realistic but sad ending where she doesn't get the guy. She loses what could be a really great friend in Veronica. And everybody just feels like this was just a bad plan and this is how it turned out. I think that could really say something about that John Hughes fantasy does not work today. And I think that the movie totally missed the opportunity to be able to say something really strong in that. And instead, it's like wipes the slate clean.
That was so deep, Gianni.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
No, but now you see why I'm so angry about it, right?
Yeah.
'Cause, that's the thing, is there's a better movie here. And with that one switch, I think the whole rest of it could make the whole rest of the movie that much stronger.
Yeah.
You would forgive this poor catfishing plot because they will have gotten the correct ramifications of it. There would not be this huge controversy because the point would be to see the fallacy that these the facade essentially that these characters are trying to live in. I just think it would be so much stronger.
Yeah.
I hate the ending of this movie.
Yeah. I hate the movie. I'm sorry, wait, can we just go back 1 second?
Oh yeah.
So when okay, if you guys haven't seen the movie, spoiler alert. You already gave one.
we already said spoiler alert.
So okay, when Veronica, crazy cheerleader, not crazy cheerleader, but mean cheerleader girl, is on the date with Peter Kavinsky.
Yep.
Sierra is stalking them from 3 seats away and basically telling her what to say, or was that in another scene? I don't know. It was just creepy. She was stalking them.
Yeah.
So they go outside, and they're at his car. Sierra sneaks under his automobile and literally is like stalking these 2 people. And that's when she texts the Veronica. Sierra texts Veronica what to say so she sounds smart.
Yeah.
And Peter Kavinsky is basically like, he wants to kiss her.
Yes.
And so Veronica tells Peter Kavinsky to close his eyes. He closes his eyes. She tells Sierra to come from underneath his automobile. She was stalking you, by the way, Veronica. But anyways, she pulls Sierra out of the vehicle and tells Veronica to kiss Peter Kavinsky while his eyes are closed.
Well, tell Sierra to kiss Peter, right?
Tells Sierra to kiss Peter Kavinsky while his eyes are closed. They share this really romantic kiss. I guess they were trying to make it seem that way, but no. Like, this is not okay. So Peter Kavinsky, like, they're kind of acting weird and they're like, keep your eyes closed, keep your eyes closed. And I feel like he was kind of feeling a little like weird, like, oh, what? Okay, this is weird. So I did notice there was one cut of the camera where he started opening his eyes and can clearly see Sierra.
Someone else.
They cut to
Someone
another
else
camera
there.
angle, and it's just no.
It's just Sierra like forcibly like putting her hand over his eyes, right? Isn't that what happens there?
No, but there was like there was he could see her. He could see her. And honestly, would you keep your eyes closed?
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not. Why am I closing my eyes?
It's just like not okay. Like
But again, like this is the thing, right? Like not only did they create the most gullible, oblivious character just for the sake of convenience for this moment, but they also like, I don't know, like what was the purpose, right?
yeah.
Like what would they think? I mean, I don't want to go there,
What
but
are
like
you doing?
seriously though, what would they think? And I haven't said this before on the podcast, right? But I'll say it now. Huge Godzilla fan, okay? Enormous. Love Godzilla to death. Lindsay Beer is writing this Godzilla vs. King Kong film. I wish her all the best. I hope she nails it. I really do. I hope she knocks it out of the fucking park. I just also hope that this movie, gosh,
Are you trying
does
to be
not
nice?
happen again.
He was trying to say that in a nice way.
Yeah, I was trying to say it as nice as I possibly can. Look, I'm never on this podcast to just shit on people, okay?
Mhm.
I feel like I say this every episode now, but I'm never on this podcast just to shit on people. I am of the belief that everyone is capable of good work. I think that not everybody always delivers. I don't think that there's anybody except for Daniel Day-Lewis that can deliver 100%.
And Tom Hardy.
And Tom Hardy that can
And Leo.
deliver. And who?
Leah.
Mm.
Let's not get into this, Gianni. Let's not get into this.
But look, the point is, right? There's very few that can deliver 100% positive all the time, if any. And so this is just an example of, I think, Lindsay Beer's lesser work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not void of anything good. Like I've been trying to say the whole time, the reason I'm so angry with this movie is because I do think there's something here. I just think that this movie misses way too many opportunities. And at the end of it, all this like controversy over the catfishing, all the horrible things that this lead character does, and then takes responsibility for none of them in the end and gets redeemed. I think that's all fucking valid. I think this movie deserves more flack than it's getting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just my soapbox
on
Sierra Burgess.
Trying to see if I have anything else.
I got one more negative. After all this.
Oh, I have one.
Go for it.
Okay, so they're at a party, right?
Yeah.
And the college boy that Veronica is dating, okay, he's in a room with one of his friends. Please tell me you remember this, Gianni. And Sierra conveniently is by the door.
Right.
When the college boyfriend of Veronica says to his friend, I told her she's dumb to make her insecure, and I guarantee she's gonna put out tonight.
Yeah.
Do guys really talk like this?
I think it's optimistic to say no. I would hope no.
I can't believe someone can be that douchey.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's horrible.
It's just it was all too convenient for her to hear him say those words.
But also though, it's really just to get the audience to not like that character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, Sierra never reveals that information to Veronica.
Mm.
Veronica just sort of learns on her own through this guy dumping her over DM or whatever that he's a douche, but does not learn to the extent of his douchery to say something like that. So it's just like, why even have it in there? Just to have this gag where I guess Sierra falls on her face trying to get to Veronica. But even still, it's like, she's very dedicated to getting to Veronica in that moment. Why can't she stick with that? At least to the point of the next day when they're having the conversation about how he dumped her on DM or whatever. Why wouldn't she reveal it then? Yeah, I heard him talking. He's a fucking douchebag. Don't be upset over this guy. He doesn't deserve it. Anything.
I'm sorry, I have another negative.
Please go.
Sierra, I'm sorry. Why are you mad that Peter Kavinsky kissed Veronica to begin with? You started this master plan, which was stupid as and you are now angry that what?
Well, this is what I was saying, right? Veronica didn't do anything wrong. All she did was really go along with his plan. I mean, that in and of itself is wrong. But again, Veronica's not shown to be the smart one. It's Sierra. It's like Veronica really is just like going through the motions here. But at the end, Veronica's the one that gives Sierra the guy, gives her all the redemption she deserves, all of the good stuff. It's like, why? Why? Sierra doesn't deserve it.
I want to hear your other negative.
It's just, I think it'll be a quick one. I probably should have put it earlier so that we could have our whole rant before this. But now I'm just worn out, right? I'm just like, now I'm just going through the fucking motions here. A dull first act. It has a dull first act. I think, and you, so like when we first agreed to do this movie, you were like, I watched the first 15 minutes, shut it off. And then we agreed to do it. And then, we both watched the whole thing or whatever. But I think that definitely, without a doubt, hardest part getting into this movie was the first act. Because it just felt so, the things that it was telling me about these characters felt very contrived. And the things that it wasn't telling me about the characters felt like it was going nowhere. I was like, what is the plot of this? When is it going to kick in? And then when it does, like I said, second act is actually has some rather enjoyable moments. But it's like, it felt like it took so long to get there. And I think that the pacing was just so weird in that first act. Just not click. Does not click out of the gate. And she brushes her tongue first. Who does that? With a toothbrush.
I have a negative. Oh, this is my negative, Gianni. Okay, I'm thoroughly against what I'm about to tell you right now.
Okay.
Thoroughly.
Okay.
Veronica is at her house with Sierra and calls, I don't know who she calls this, but she calls someone a mouth breather.
Okay,
Are you freaking
I don't even remember that.
I do. And I wrote it down because I was pissed. I hate when people do this, okay?
Oh my God.
You are now referencing Stranger Things. Barb, we obviously know that, I don't even know her real name. I just know her as Barb.
Barb from Stranger Things. I really should have looked up the actress's name because, let me look it up now. Keep talking.
Okay. Well, okay, now you're putting us into the world of, you've watched Stranger Things.
Shannon Purser.
Shannon Purser has been in Stranger Things. You know she's Barb if you've seen Stranger Things. I don't like when movies or shows mix it to like try and make it clever, like mix movies. Like you can't do that. You're trying to be clever, but now you really just messed me up.
By saying mouth breather?
Because you're referencing Stranger Things. And
was that a Stranger Things reference?
Yeah, mouth breather. That's what 11 calls people that she doesn't like.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Mouth breathers. I hope I'm right.
I don't know.
No, she calls them a mouth breather.
Sure, okay.
An evil person is a mouth breather.
I mean, you know this about me. I'm very, very, like, I haven't really seen Stranger Things. And I know you love it. So, I mean, I'm sure you're right. I've seen the first season, but, like, it was a while ago. I really don't remember.
It just bothered me.
Yeah.
It bothered me. It took me out of the world that they were trying to create here. You can't reference a show that you watched in like the TV world that you're like, oh yeah, you know, just really got me upset.
You tell him. Yeah. That
Really bothered me.
you can't say someone's a fucking mouth breather unless you're paying the homage to Stranger Things.
Yeah, and Barb and whatever. Ugh, guys, I'm sorry. I just really hate when people do this. Makes me uncomfortable.
I get it.
Do
Elizabeth
you?
Sanchez. No, I don't. I've never, I don't really watch Stranger Things. Elizabeth Sanchez.
Is it time?
Almost. It's speed round time.
Oh my gosh.
Speed round. Elizabeth Sanchez.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Because Keith just walked in the door. Hey, buddy. You're good. Yeah, I mean, we're recording, but like, we'll just edit this part out. You're good. Yeah, you ruined the whole show. Hi, guys. It's okay. No worries at all. So I'll just wait for them to close the door or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This movie just gets me so heated. It really does. I'm sweating. I think it's also to do with
It's also
it being
because
hot
the
in
AC
here.
is
Yeah.
on.
Elizabeth Sanchez. Speed round.
Oh my god.
Your top 3, and they can be, making fun of the movie too if you want. Your top 3 favorite moments or quotes from this movie. Go.
Okay, favorite moment. I liked the phone call scene, the first one that they had.
Yeah.
It was
that a good one.
lovely.
That was a good one.
I liked the music. Okay. That's 1. 2. I have a
You have a list of these things. She's pulling up a list on her phone, ladies and gentlemen. You got a list.
Oh man, I don't think I wrote it down.
What was it, a quote or like?
It was something that Dan said. Oh, he said something about like teen pregnancy or something. And everything he said I just thought was funny.
Yeah, he's funny.
Oh, nope. Second one is definitely the scene where he goes up to Peter Kavinsky and like says that she's deaf
that
or
whole
something.
deaf thing. Yeah,
Yeah, that was funny. Funny moment. Third moment. Oh, I enjoyed I enjoyed the moment where Peter Kavinsky and Sierra shook hands and they had like a little moment.
And and during that same scene, where
Mhm.
they have that little
I enjoyed that moment.
glance into the eyes, right?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Okay, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I just have a few notes that I'd like to share.
Okay.
2 of which have to do with the classroom stuff, which not the main focal point of the movie at all. But I thought of myself as very clever. So the teacher says at one point, she's like, this poem thing is 10% of your grade. But Sierra, like when she misses the assignment or whatever, it's like made as this whole big deal. And I wrote down, I was like, it's only 10% of a grade, lol. So she gets a 90%, big fucking deal. Who gives a shit? She's a straight A student already. Who cares? Who cares? Her teacher's basically hailing her as a prodigy at this point. Oh, big fucking whoop. She missed this one fucking assignment. Give me a break.
Yeah.
I was not the best high school student. And I missed a lot of assignments, way more weighted than 10%. I was like, man, if it was a 10% assignment and I missed it, I did not sweat for a fucking second. And neither did the teacher. They were like, yeah, it was 10% of your grade. Who cares?
Yeah.
And then I also had written very early on, fuck man, this teacher is roast master 5000.
Oh,
because
yeah.
that teacher was popping off in their first scene, just roasting kids left and right.
I loved it.
Like commented on one one of the kids using birth control as like a cheating method and all this stuff. It was funny, but it was also like, whoa, okay, this teacher is popping off.
She was a savage.
Yeah, she was sassafras.
Is that the only note that you have?
I got a bunch of notes written, but those were just the ones that I found really funny.
Did you note about the gym scene?
Do you want to tell them? Because I know that you
Guys.
Guys.
Let me tell you about this freaking scene that they put. So Peter Kavinsky is in school. He has a gym class. Cool. We've all had to do it. There is that dreaded rope that you have to climb in whatever grade you're in. Middle school, high school, whatever.
Yeah.
He is going up this rope. Let me tell you, I couldn't even get that high up the rope, you know? I
didn't even get off the ground when I did the fucking rope. Okay, let's be real. I didn't even get up there.
But for some reason, him and his friends get up there pretty quickly while having a long conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It honestly, I think that was the first moment where I was like, Peter Kavinsky, just
let me down.
You let me down, Peter Kavinsky. you really let me down. But then I also have to like ask, was it his fault? It wasn't an acting thing, it was a like director's choice.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know who to fault on something like that.
But it was hard
just
to
this
watch.
Very non-believable moment where he's just climbing up this rope, just
And then,
monologuing
yeah,
effortlessly, just like having a grand old time.
I could not do that in high school. I cannot do that now.
I never in my life.
And if I could get up that rope, do not talk to me. I am using all of my energy to get up this fucking rope.
As soon as I get off that rope, I'm going to sleep.
I'm sorry, that was a note. That was one of the notes.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you saying so. My verdict here. I'm going to give the final verdict.
Okay.
At its best, this is a moderately likable teenage rom-com with a few significant performances and characters. But at its worst, this is a cheap retread of genre conventions that portrays a borderline offensive betrayal of character motivations for the sake of plot convenience. I am giving Sierra Burgess is a Loser a 5 out of 10. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Deserves a lot lower. Here's my thing, right? Deserves a lot lower for the aggression that I have about it. But, again, going back to it, the reason I have this passion, this fire within my loins, is because I do believe that there is a good movie within this. And if only just correcting the ending, I instantly think that this movie could be 2, maybe even 3 points higher. And that's why I give it a 5. I understand if you're a viewer and you never want to watch the show again after this. I understand. I would implore you to not make that big of a deal out of it because I do need some viewership. So, but that is my reasoning for that.
I'm nodding my head.
I'm sorry I let you down. You're shaking your head. No,
I'm shaking.
You're not. Yeah, you're nodding. It means you agree. You're not. You're looking at me with fire across the table. And I don't blame you. And I get it, right? But I can't let emotion drive my rating here.
Okay.
I gotta stick to what I know. What I know in my heart. And what I know in my heart is that there is a good movie in this somewhere.
I agree.
Thank you.
Okay.
But.
There's a but it's okay. Really, a 5? Not a 4? A 4.5?
Here's the thing, man.
A 5, Gianni?
Here's the thing.
Come on, bro.
I watched Twilight. I watched fucking Bye Bye Man. This movie is better than those, okay? More frustrating than those, but better than those.
If it had a better ending. If it had a better ending.
If it had a better ending, it's not even, I don't think this is a pod, like on this podcast necessarily. I don't even think it belongs on this. If it switched that ending, I think this movie gets at least 7s from people.
Mm-hmm. Okay, agreed. You know what? Okay. Okay.
You with me?
I'm
me
with
on
you.
this?
I'm with you.
Let's fist bump across the table. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Sound Pollination has a table now. Thank you very much to our Indiegogo backers. That's not. I'm sorry. That's neither here nor there. Elizabeth Sanchez,
Is it time?
thank you so much for being on this podcast.
They're
today.
kicking me out, guys. They're kicking
I'm
me
kicking
out.
her out. She's gone after this. Thank you. No, seriously, thank you so much. This was a total blast. Do you want to plug anything?
What does that mean?
Like, talk about your photography or anything else you want to hype up or whatever. You're an actress and a photographer and really talented at fucking everything. So
Oh,
just
no,
go
I'm
ahead and shout yourself out a little
Oh,
bit.
well, okay. I'm a photographer trying to get into wedding photography and couple photography. So check out my website, www.ellie, ELLIE, May, MAE, photo, you should know how to spell that, .com.
Yeah, they know how to spell photo, but not Ellie.
It can be
I guess some.
I've seen some. I actually have a friend whose name is Ellie, and it's spelled ELLY.
Okay, yeah. See, no, you know what? I rescind my statement.
You better. That is all I had to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Bad Movies Podcast. If you like this, you can follow us on Twitter at Bad Movies Cast. Feel free to tweet at me and give me any bad movie suggestions you'd like to see on the show. You could also follow up on Sound Pollination at www.soundpollination.com. Keep up with us and what we're doing. We're excited to be launching a bunch of cool shit in the coming weeks and months. We just launched a new show, Book It Sports with John and Greg. If you're a sports fan and you're also a Bad Movies fan, pop on over, check that one out, give it a listen. Also, we have our other shows, Knowing Nothing and 20-somethings. Give those a listen as well. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.